am a career woman. I am used to having phone lists and dinner meetings. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Not that. I have been yucked and noped to death by you guys. I have had it with whiskers and plaid. Look at me. I'm going nuts. I used to be cute. I'm not prepared for wells to run dry. I just want to turn on the faucet and have water. I don't want to know where it's coming from. Another 6,000.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Large Marge Sent Us podcast. I'm Sweetie.
And I'm Sweetie.
And we have some big news. Oh my God. Okay, the news is Sweetie and Sweetie and I are finally aunties.
Call us Aunt Sweetie and Aunt Sweetie from now on. That's not confusing at all.
Nope.
Yes, our older sister, Elizabeth, who lives in Ireland, had her first baby. Is Ava Isabel Kershaw, born January 3rd, 6 pounds, 12 ounces. Beautiful babe.
We love her so much already. We're so excited, and we decided as a tribute we would do our favorite baby movie.
We do a lot of tributes on this podcast. I don't know if
I thought you were going to say
gleaned that thus far.
I thought you were going to say we do a lot of baby movies on this podcast.
Well, we do. There's a lot more babies to come.
I know.
I'll tell you.
It's like we got so
Babies
much
on the brain.
So we picked
Baby Boom. Double entendre,
not to be confused
I
with the
believe.
baby boomers.
Well, it's a double entendre.
Is she a baby boomer though?
Well, remember when she goes to the library and she's like, "Give me everything you have on baby boomers." Blah, blah. I think she's a
Why
baby
did
boomer.
she do that though?
But it's also like baby boom, and then they use that in, like, obviously her baby boom personal, and then
but
in the,
why was she
in the newspaper they
researching-
call it a baby boom.
Yeah, but why was she?
Because those were the
researching baby
consumers.
boomers?
Those are the consumers. Right?
I thought it was just yuppies.
A baby boomer is anyone born after World War II.
So we're baby boomers.
No. So like our parents were.
This is like Gremlins all over again.
Our parents were. So like mom and dad were baby boomers.
You're a baby
And
boomer.
they were parents in 1987. I am not a baby boomer. Just told you that. We're generation fart. I don't know.
We're millennials.
Whatever. Anyway, we're talking way too much about ourselves and not about
Nobody
this fine
cares.
film.
Everyone loves us.
They do. Baby Boom from 1987, starring Diane Keaton, the fabulous, wonderful Diane Keaton,
Ugh,
who
love her.
always has reminded us of our mother, Carol.
Carol. She is Carol's spirit animal, and every movie I see of her just reminds me so much of my mother, so I love her.
Yeah.
She's a great lady, and this is one of her greatest roles, I'll say it. I love it. I fucking love it.
Yeah, it's so amazing, and we really like. I don't know if it's like random that we grew up on this. I think mom and dad just really loved this movie and thought it was hilarious, and they would watch it with us, and then we just absorbed it, not totally understanding it. But now, as the career women that we are, it brings a tear to my eye. It's so sweet.
I know you
I
cried.
burst into tears at one point.
You
Do
always cry at that part,
I
so
don't
I'm
know.
not that surprised.
So why? Anyways, I think we need to tell people a little bit about this plot because it might not be as familiar to people as people in the Sweetie family. So
Okay.
let's do it. The Sweetie synopsis. Hey, Sweeties.
J.C. Wyatt is the tiger lady. Tiger woman? Tiger lady. Tiger lily? Oh.
It's not Peter
kidding.
Pan.
The tiger lady. She's a hard-cutting businesswoman who works at a management consultant firm.
What is
And-
that?
They teach people how to manage.
I think it seems like marketing, advertising.
Yeah,
something
like
to
how
me.
they can manage their business and make it better or something.
She works from, get these hours. Me old slacker over here who works like 10 to 4. I'm not used to this. Poor JC works from 5 to 9.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like that's like lawyer hours, but
Linda Ellerby, is that a typo? Did you mean 9 to 5?
80 to 80 hours a week. That's crazy town. So yeah, career lady. Go
How many
on.
hours are in a week?
So I work 35 hours a week.
No, I know, but how many hours are in a normal week? Like, does she have time to do anything, I guess is my question. Other than sleep, I guess. Just
Well, let's say, okay, so even if you work like 12 hours, She works more than 12 hours a day. She works 12, 13, 14, 16-hour days. She works more than half the time.
Yeah, but in a normal week is 168 hours. So, and she's working what?
70 to 80. So she's working half of the week.
I feel sad.
Yeah.
But she's a go-getter. She loves work. She loves it so much. She's dating Harold Ramis, who they sort of have like a pseudo relationship where they both are obsessed with their job, so that's really their main priority. And then they're just with each other for like sort of companionship.
Right.
But it doesn't even seem very honest or exciting.
Because she breaks up and she's kind of like they break up later and
they're like nuts.
And he's like, oh, okay. Well, that was fun while it lasted. I mean, they have like 3-minute sex. Planned.
Exactly. There's nothing special.
Hey, do you want to make love? Do you want to make love?
It's no big deal.
Yeah.
So one night, so she finds out that she's gonna make partner at her firm, but Fritz, the jackass, misogynistic fuck, is like, hey, I want to make you a partner, but I don't know if you can do it because you're a woman, and women want to have like babies and get married and shit, and they just don't have time for that.
That's my gun noise. I'm shooting that Fritz, you sexist piece of shit.
Basically, he's saying that you cannot be a woman, have a great job and a family, even though men can. And
let's do the line.
Here's the best line in the whole movie. Not really, but this is what emphasizes this point. He says, "A man can be a success and still have a personal life. A woman can't."
It makes me want to stab somebody.
You motherfucker!
Fuck that dude. And she really is, in the beginning, has no interest in children at all. I mean, that is something that I think a lot of people were like, this could have been done with a man very easily. Had a child dumped on them and you totally would have believed it. Like, okay, he doesn't know, like, has no mothering sense in him, whatever. Or didn't want to have kids, want to be a bachelor his whole life. So it was interesting that they chose a woman to do this role and to have her be inexperienced. Didn't have siblings, she said.
Well, I think that's what a large part of the 80s really was about.
Yes.
That, like, women were finally...
So that this is when they could finally make this movie, because before then it would have been like, all women know how to take care of kids. That's what you freaking did.
Yes.
Anyway, so we need to get to the part where she is the baby.
Yes. So, middle of the night, she gets a phone call. It's overseas, so the reception's bad, so she can't really understand it. But essentially, she understands that her long-lost cousin Andrew, who is her mother's cousin's daughter's son, which... Does that even make her related? I'm confused.
They have the same last name, though.
Oh, yeah. He and his wife have died in a car accident, and in his will, he left something to JC because she was his last living relative. She doesn't know what it is because she can't really hear the person on the other end of the phone. She's like, oh, that's funny. He must have left me a pen or something. Wait, a pen or a pin?
Yeah.
I forget.
I think it's pin.
Okay.
A pen would be a fucking shitty thing to put in a will.
I don't know.
Who gives a shit?
And a pin's not? Like, oh, I got a pin.
Heirloom.
Pen could be an heirloom. Anyway,
it's a baby heirloom.
So she goes to the airport to collect what she gets. Omnius sign number 1, going to the airport to collect your thing. Like, why can't they just send it to you? So she's there, and this woman comes off the plane holding a baby. She's like, oh, hello, I'm Mrs. Atwood. Like, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I've got to go. And she's like, what did I inherit? And she, like, signs the paper as she's asking her this before she finds out what she inherited. She's like, what? And Elizabeth, you've inherited Elizabeth. So apparently they had a child, her cousin and his wife, and because JC is the last living relative, the custody goes over to her. No background check, nothing. Just hands her the baby and leaves, essentially.
With a suitcase full of clothes.
Yeah.
Be like, here you go.
See you later.
Questionable.
Not sure if that's how things were done back then, or it was just for the sake of the movie. We'll need information on that. Anybody, like lawyers dealing with this, let us know. Anyway, so JC frantically goes to this important lunch meeting she has at 12:30 with a very important
I've got a 12:30 lunch meeting
called the Food Chain, which she's gonna, I guess, is like a huge moneymaker for her. So it's very important she gets this. She has to bring Elizabeth. She's freaking out. She's frazzled. It doesn't go well. The baby's crying in the coat check. But essentially she's like, fuck, I'm stuck with this kid. They find out through the will that if she doesn't want to keep the baby, she can give it up for adoption. So she chooses that. She chooses that option. So she goes there, fills out the stuff, waits however long.
Yeah. No, who knows what.
Meanwhile,
time it is.
Elizabeth gets sick. She gets a cold. JC starts bonding with her and starts forming that motherly bond, you guys.
Yeah.
So we all know what that means.
I guess you're gonna make me talk about my tearjerker part.
Oh, well, sure.
So she's getting involved with this very big account, the food chain account. So she has to be at work more, but that she has this baby. So she tells everybody that she just has the cousin's baby and she's giving it for adoption. So it's only temporary. But when they call her and they found someone to adopt Elizabeth, the couple is this terrifying backwoods couple from Duluth, Minnesota. Is that where Duluth is? Yeah. It's like a creepy farmer. The guy, the woman calls her husband father.
I don't know, Father. What do you think about this?
Yeah,
child? They were upset because they couldn't get a boy.
Yeah. Does he asks if the baby has all her shots? I mean, it's like super weird. So JC like freaks out. Obviously, it's had such a bonding couple days with this baby, and like for once in her life was like, wow, like maybe I do want to be a mom. Like never thought of it. So she kind of is like flipping out, but she hands the baby back to the couple who's going to adopt her, and she's like, "Bye, bye, Elizabeth." And Elizabeth is like crying, and she like shakes her hand, and then she leaves the office, and it plays this like big orchestra. There's kind of like one ongoing
the violins.
theme
It's
of
the violins that get you.
It's like da na 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 na. So she's like, and it's like building and building, building. You see her getting like so upset, and then like 2 seconds later, she's walking out of the adoption agency with Elizabeth and all her bags, and I just lost it because having to make that decision on the spot, whether you want to be a mom or not, and what that must have felt like to her. I don't know. I'm obviously my sister just had a baby. I'm thinking about my own, like wanting to have a baby someday.
Thinking about your own uterus.
Yes.
How we have a very short time.
Yes.
And we gotta. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. And she was just gonna do it. She's like, you know what? I can do it. I can have it all. And this is like the crux of the film, as I love to say.
But can she have it all? Interesting question.
Because what happens?
What happens is that she really. Well, part one. So I break this movie down into two parts. Part one, New York City shenanigans. Part two, Vermont shenanigans, plus bonus winning. So, unfortunately, what happens is she finds it very difficult to balance work life, as she should. She's a single parent, essentially,
right? And I have
a crazy ass job.
And I'm pissed that like when what ends up happening that happens, I'll let you explain, but it was only a couple weeks.
Yeah, it was a couple
give
weeks.
her some fucking time to adjust.
So Fritz, jackass weasel dick, calls her into his office and is like, "I'm giving you the Ferber dog chow account. You just can't handle this pressure, this work, whatever." And she's like so upset, and she's like, "I can't go out there and tell people that I'm on the Ferber dog chow account."
And he gives her that like bullshit speech again about like, you can't have it all.
I told you,
blah blah blah. I told you this, blah blah blah. And she's like, I can do it. Give me some more time. Like she like put her heart and soul in that fucking company, and they were just like, well, you've been slacking for a couple of weeks because you have a baby at home that you didn't know you were gonna have. Like too bad you're getting demoted. Like what the fuck? Yeah. And then they give all her shit to like stupid little Ken, who is a baby. James Spader, like cutest little button, does not look like he looks like now, is such a little weasel dick again. Also, there's a lot of weasel dicks in this
movie. A weasel dicks. It should be
just
renamed the Weasel Dicks.
It's just fucking annoying. And you know what? Like the stuff that happened, I agree. Like, yeah, you shouldn't take your baby to work. That was like not a good.
It was like
not a good idea.
That was one time.
You shouldn't step out of an important conference call to sing your baby the Itsy Bitsy Spider. Yes, like that would be kind of weird. Even today, you'd be like, huh, like that's kind of weird.
That stuff happens.
But
and
it happens.
You adapt, and then and it just bothered me. So, anyways, so she decides to resign essentially. So she like got her stuff. But she has
strings moment. When she
another good strings. But she's been holding this newspaper, this real estate ad for this lovely country house in Vermont that she's been just obsessed with. And she calls up. It's still available. Omnia sign number 1. All these Omnia signs here. So she packs up everything in Elizabeth and buys a Wagoneer. And they go off to Vermont to this lovely country house in the country in a town called Hadleyville, population including her and Elizabeth, 319.
It's so cute.
And it's the kind of town where they like paint that on the sign. So when her and Elizabeth came, thank God he could just turn the 7 into a 9 like really easily. But like, can you imagine if it was like 300 and I don't know what a 2? Like, how do you turn that?
Well,
into
I think
a
they
9?
break out the white paint.
Oh God, seems like an hassle.
So I guess they wanted like a Norman Rockwell style town for that. And they found it, and it's actually a real town. It's not called Hadleyville, but it's called Peru. Random. Weird. Peru, Vermont. So it does really exist if you want to hop up there and check it out.
Check it out thing. So she loves it at first. She's having a good time. There's an apple orchard. The house apparently just comes with horses.
Or
no, sorry, cows.
Cows. A big
like
pond.
a farm. Yeah, I don't know. It just comes with that stuff. I'm confused. Yeah. So she's loving it until the winter season starts, and she slowly starts to realize her house obviously did not have a house inspection because everything is wrong with it.
Lesson learned.
What are some of the things wrong with her house, sweetie?
So the first thing that goes wrong is the heat. So she's like sleeping one night. She's like, ooh, it's kind of cold. Feels the heater, no heat. And there's this kind of like ongoing joke where there's this one handyman in the town, and he comes over and he'll be like, oh, like this is busted. You're going to have to get a new one, whatever. And she's like, how much does that cost? And he's like, I don't know. And then she's like, can you give me a ballpark? And then he'll be like, between $6,000 and $7,000 pretty much every time. So first it's the heat. Her pipes are corroded or something. So you need all new plumbing for heat, $6,000 to $7,000.
No, it was the roof. It was the
plumbing?
Heat. No, the plumbing was the last one where she freaks out because
that's the well. No, but it was like the heat was with pipes.
Oh, with the pipes corroded.
So then they have this huge blizzard, and her roof gets a huge hole in it. So then how much is the roof?
House.
Like another $5,000. And then the last straw is that she puts in the water one day, and nothing comes out, and the well has dried up. So she's going to have to tap into the town line, another $6,000, $7,000. She flips the fuck out. She's like, I want to move back to New York. This sucks. And passes out in the snow.
The plumber takes her to the local veterinarian.
Is there no doctor in town?
Well, I was going to say, let's name some of the other things this town has. They have their own radio station, 2 old men who sit out on a porch and gossip, a college, ?
A mayor.
A vet, a fire department with a golden retriever mascot, but they do not have a doctor's office.
Where's the doctor?
Confused. Anyways, so he takes her to the vet. The doctor, who's played by Sam Shepard and his snaggletooth, help her, and she's like, oh, handsome man, and she starts kind of telling him all her problems, then until she realizes he's a vet, and she gets very upset. Anyway, she makes it her life goal to move back to New York. However, I forget how long they said the house had been listed for.
5 years.
5 years, and she was the
5
only
years,
nibble.
And I was the only nibble?
So it's unlikely she's gonna be able to sell her house. So she's kind of fucked. So meanwhile, she's been making this baby applesauce because she has all these great apples on her orchard, and Elizabeth loves it. So she sells it at the local general store. One day, these 4 yuppies come in and they see the baby applesauce. And they're like, this is amazing. This is a great gift. We should buy this. Let's buy 2 dozen cans. We'll buy 4 dozen cans. And then they take, and then she gets that idea that, I could make a living doing this.
Because she has the business background. She's a fucking career woman. So it's a great kind of tale about how, like, you can use your skills no matter where you go. You don't need to be in a fucking office working under the bullshit patriarchy to, like, get what you want. Like, you can have it all. So she turns her baby, she ends up calling it Country Baby, gourmet baby food, into this vast empire, which then, I guess about a year later, the fucking food chain who blew her off to begin with from that stupid company that she worked for wants to buy her. So they have her come to New York and offer her this, which is actually a pretty good deal. To buy it, she would still be COO, would get an apartment in the city, 6-week vacation.
A lot of great things.
But what happens?
Ultimately, she turns it down, guys.
Nope.
That's right. Sorry, Country Baby's not for sale. Because you know what? She's sick of this. She's sick of this patriarchal.
Sick of the
bullshit.
Sick of the rat race is what she calls it.
Yeah. I mean, she can, if the food chain can make Country Baby some things, well, so can I.
So can I.
Yeah, so she does it. So
the rat race is going
to
have
back
to deal with
Vermont.
one less rat.
She starts her relationship with Snaggletooth, and all is well.
And can be a mom and do her own thing and a successful
businesswoman.
person. Yeah. I'm telling you, girls.
We can do
Get
it.
on it. such a great movie, written by Nancy Meyers, who does a lot of good women
And it's still,
empowerment movies. I feel like
boggles my mind still how relevant this is today.
Yeah.
Because I said it was a timeless tale of the working mother and the sad state of maternity patriarchal bullshit that still today is kind of a problem. Yeah. I was listening to a podcast today, and you're not guaranteed maternity leave.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Right. Like, how is a civilization going to function if women can't have babies?
Yeah.
And like looking at what our sister's going through now, and just, I mean, these are just like the first couple of days of having that baby. I mean, she's doing great. But like how much work those babies take and how often you have to feed them and how they're up all the time. And then you're supposed to just jump back into working like so many hours a day plus having that baby.
Yeah. It's tough.
I don't know.
It sucks, guys.
Yeah.
It's a
But
rat race.
women do it.
It's a rat race and it stinks, Kenny.
Yeah.
To quote another great movie,
Yeah. Women empowerment movie.
which we will someday cover if we don't have another mishap.
That's true. But yeah, so good. Like I said, we watched this when we were quite young and maybe didn't understand the impact of it. But I'm so glad we did. I'm so glad our parents introduced it to us. And at the end of the day, this is a hysterical movie. It's so funny, so clever. It's just, if you have not seen it, obviously,
please
you'll
watch
be
it.
watching this soon.
I mean, even at a young age, I think we recognize that Diane Keaton has some of the best comedic timing in the world. Just the way that she delivers lines are just one of my favorite things about this movie. So we have a bunch of favorite lines that she says. Our favorite one is when she's in the office with Fritz and the guy that looks like Walt Disney. And old Walt Disney.
Well, they're the two partners.
Oh, they're the two partners. And she's like, has Elizabeth, and it's kind of a mess. And Fritz is like, oh, this isn't JC's baby. She's just looking after it for her cousin for a little while. She's like, how long is it going to be? Or like for a couple days. And then Diane Keaton says, well, Fritz, as it turns out, it's going to be a little longer than that. And he goes, how long? And she says, oh, forever. So I love to use that just when somebody asks something. It's just like, oh, forever.
I love the part where she's like, it's gonna be a little longer than that. And she kind of like chokes it out. Oh god, it's so good. She's like, perfect. She calls the stupid little kid who's trying to take her job. This is our mom's favorite line, Carol's favorite line, you little pisher. Is that Yiddish?
I think so.
Yeah So great. And then like all of her like, I mean, Diane Keaton for me is like some of the greatest like breakdown scenes like ever. So not only in this movie, but I remember it from like First Wives Club.
So good.
She just like freaks out so well, and I just love her to pieces. She's so good. And such like hot to trot in this one.
I know.
She's such nice
sassy.
legs.
Sure, she's got all her cute business suits.
I love her.
and-
I was gonna say her coat goals for me. # coat goals. Her coats are so awesome in this. That white one.
Oh,
the tan trench. Even the ones that she has in Vermont when she's like kind of dressing down. She's wearing her bean boots.
Oh, yeah, the boots. Yeah,
I love her style in this. I just want it. Like I always want to get a business wardrobe, but then I just end up getting super lazy and not wearing any of the pencil skirts I buy. Like today I wore fleece leggings and a plaid shirt to my office.
Today I wore a pencil skirt and it gave me diarrhea. So I give up. I give up, you guys.
You like sit in a chair all day in that shit.
Yeah.
Like it sucks.
And it like presses against your guts and then you have diarrhea. So
No,
fuck
thanks.
that shit. But I mean, someday maybe it will look cute every once in a while.
Yeah.
So what do we want to talk about first?
Boop, boop,
Favorite
boop.
part? You have some favorite parts you want to?
Well, I guess I have like some questions that I'd like addressed.
Question time.
How old do you think she is?
Good
never say.
question. Good question.
I mean, is she out of childbearing age? No, I don't think so. I think she's late 30s, maybe.
How
Early
old was she when
40s?
she made this? I guess is another
Yeah.
good question.
I mean, she looked great, but I'm just trying to think like, you know, she obviously was like high up in that company.
What year was this made?
They didn't have kids. 87. Like if she ends up with the like Sam Shepard veterinarian, are they going to have kids of their own?
I don't know. So she was
41? Okay,
when she
so
made
maybe
this.
not.
So maybe late. Well, yeah, but maybe she was like supposed to be late 30s. So
Yeah.
probably
But I mean, I think that was kind of the point, that she had basically like missed that window, and this was like her second shot of that, and why she chose to keep Elizabeth a little bit, because she knew she probably like wasn't going to have one.
Yeah, true.
But
True.
Interesting.
Good question.
I want to talk a little bit about how cool New York City is, because I forget, you can just like call up and be like, bring me all this shit, and some guy will like arrive with a box that includes like cold medicine, diapers, and Valium.
So that's just a New York thing? Like you can't
can
call a
get it
pharmacy. Here. I feel like she just called a pharmacy that delivered.
Yeah, it's just so much more prevalent in New York. Like
Yeah.
we don't really do that here, because everyone has a car, but like, you know,
That's true.
no one drives in New York, and they deliver. I mean,
pretty cool.
Everything is delivered in New York, and it is awesome. But to like get like, I love that part when he's like, baby thermometer, baby cough syrup, baby this, baby that,
Baby Tylenol.
and a bottle of Valium.
That's for me.
That's for me. And this is like the scene where she has to take, with babies, but this is prior to the cool ear thermometer.
the armpit.
Or armpit. Well, I guess you could do that with the armpit. But now you have those cool like ear thermometers for babies.
Thank God.
Because before you had to put them in their butthole.
It's fucking
So she was
barbaric.
like flipping out and had to like take a Valium before she did it, and then she chases it down
that's
with
a good-
the juice in
another
the
good
baby
part.
bottle.
Oh, I thought it was like the Pedialyte or something.
Yeah, Pedialyte.
And she was like, she's like, it's gonna be. Oh, I know, it's gonna be so quick. Don't. It's great. No one likes getting something stuck in their butt. Know what I'm
what a good
saying?
trooper. But so cool. And yeah, I love that. It makes you do kind of want to live in New York. She also had the sickest apartment ever. Obviously, she was making a ton of money.
So that was a question.
No, this was like observation / question
Like,
time.
what would you like to get delivered?
Yeah. What would you like to get delivered?
Tampons.
There you go. Yeah.
Any more questions?
Can you sing the saxophone theme? That sounds like the Teen Witch one.
It's the same one.
Is
I
it?
wrote down. I'm pretty sure that there's the same saxophone riff used by all 80s films at this time.
Yes.
It's the same exact one. I mean, how much? There's not a lot you can do with the saxophone.
But then there's like the baby version. It's
yeah.
like la 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 la
No, you're wrong.
la
No,
la.
you're yeah, okay. Yeah, but we're on two different things. Which I want to look this up, but so the end of Rosemary's Baby has a very similar song, and I wonder if they realized that. I'm not sure, but spooky. But yeah, I love that. Love the theme, you guys.
Yeah,
a musical theme.
Love those saxes.
Put some words to the theme. What do you come up with?
The baby. Can I do the baby one? That's the easiest one.
Yeah.
My name's JC. I live in New York and I don't like babies, but then I got a little baby. I loved her so much. Her name is Elizabeth, and then I made applesauce and I'm a millionaire.
Cool. Good one. We'll record it. All right,
Yeah.
Here's the Rosemary's Baby one. See if it's similar. No, okay. That's not it.
Kind of.
Yeah, a little spookier. But yeah, so
Jenny, you got any
I got questions. What's a flash report? Question number one. This is like, I love these old business movies from the 80s and the 90s where these things happen. And as a child watching these, I was convinced that my life was going to be filled with these things later.
Does this make you want to work in an office
yes,
or no?
Again, I always have these like office fantasies after I watch these movies.
Office
and I'm like,
fantasy.
I can't wait to have my own office and like a secretary that will buy me Teddy Ruxpin whenever I want.
Reality check. It is not like that.
It's not at all. No, but yeah, so in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, there was the QED report.
Yeah.
In this, it's the flash report.
It's
Not
in the
sure what
wrong
that is.
industry.
Maybe. But yeah, so that was my question. And then my second question was, would you have turned down all of these things? So this is what she gets offered to sell Country Baby to the food chain company. $3 million in cash. That's just for selling the company. She would stay on as chief operating officer, and she would get a salary of $350 a year plus
$350,000.
What?
He said $350.
No, I think it's $1,000.
No.
$350,000
Rewind
a
the
year.
tape. Doesn't matter.
Plus a possible 150% bonus on top of that, which means that she could be taking home $1 million in salary. plus she could get an apartment of her choice that they would pay for. So you could pick any fucking apartment in New York City and be like, I want that one.
Wow.
Can you imagine? 6 weeks vacation time right off the bat, use of the company jet, and some other shit that he mumbled, but I'm sure it was pretty good. Like, would you turn all that down?
With the history with that company, yes. Because her whole point was basically to come there and turn it down and wanted to be like, 2 fingers up, fuck you, like, get out of here. It's an awesome deal. And, like, we did the inflation rates, and, like, so $3 million in 87 is about $6 million now. Her salary per year would be like $3 million. I mean, that ain't too shabby. But Elizabeth didn't fit in that life, and Elizabeth hated New York. And she was starting to make life in Vermont.
Did she have an opinion?
But she started to really love Vermont. She loved the small town. She finally got someone who she was like attracted to and actually had like a romance with.
Wait, you're talking about JC? I thought you said Elizabeth.
No, I'm talking about JC.
Okay.
Now.
I was like, she was attracted to someone?
Oh my
She's
God.
only 2.
She's a baby. Yeah, even though Sam Shepard has a snaggletooth and you don't know where that relationship went, he was cute.
Good
when
for her,
he
though.
didn't smile with his
the
teeth.
only eligible bachelor in this town.
Yes.
So she swooped down and snagged him. So that's good. Snagged him with his snaggletooth.
But like money wasn't everything to her, and I think that's what she got to remember. But
True.
I would still probably take it.
Yeah, me too. Just for that the apartment part for me really
I
sealed
would
the
not
deal.
mind. I'm like never gonna make $1 million my whole life. Can't imagine making that in a fucking year. But
We would just spend it all immediately.
Yep.
We're just terrible with money. We'd be like, oh my God, what can I buy?
more money, more problems.
Ugh, exactly.
What else you got in there?
Oh, that was all the questions I had.
Oh, damn.
Oh, wait, here's one. Would you take your child to the Center for Brighter Babies, which is this really posh, stupid learning center for babies in the city? It's very dumb. They hold up flashcards with stupid shit on them so the baby can memorize them. Here are some examples.
Well, okay, go. Sorry.
A doorknob. John F. Kennedy. A BMW. Shrimp sushi.
My favorite one, she's like, Great Gray Owl.
Great Gray Owl. That's funny. My favorite one is shrimp sushi, I think. Or Whoopi Goldberg.
Great Gray Owl.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Doorknob. So random. So I think that's so funny, that scene. So like before that, she meets these women in the park who tell her all about how like you have to get your kids into like this preschool to then be able to get into this kindergarten to be able to get this into whatever the private school, then to be able to get into Ivy League. And this woman's like, oh, like she's pregnant. She's like, oh, my kid's already on the waiting list to Dalton. Like your kids aren't signed up for any classes and blah blah blah. And it's like, was that? I mean, I know that's like kind of a thing now that parents are fucking annoying and they're like, oh, I have to get my kids to like my best schools ever and like all this stuff. But or is it just a New York thing at that time?
I think it's just like a yuppie New York thing at that time.
Like when you're that wealthy and you could even consider it.
I mean, JC is a graduate of Harvard, top of her class, or of Yale, top of her class, and she didn't go to fancy preschools or high schools or anything.
Right.
So I think in her head, she's like, well, that's dumb, but she still kind of gets sucked into that.
Right, and you can because
idea.
And like I rant all the time about private schools. I have like a small issue with them. And I get into fights with people. But I would like to have this talk again once I have kids, because now I'm thinking of it as like, well, I don't have kids, and like, but once I have one, I'm like, oh, like I do have to worry about their education, because my theory is that my kids will be good enough that they'll be able to succeed wherever they go.
Right. And it's like,
I don't think you need all that garbage.
So and the creepy kid that is a graduate of the Center for Brighter Babies comes up to the moms and is like, he's probably what, like 3?
Yeah.
And he's like, Mom, doesn't the sky look just like Cézanne's like blah 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 painting? And they all look up. They're like, wow, it does. Great observation,
honey.
Like, why? Okay, so you go to the Center for Brighter Babies, you turn into a fucking weirdo, and then you're weird your whole life, and then you don't have any friends, and you go down a bad, sad spiral. I don't think that's a positive thing.
Seriously, go to public school,
Be a
socialize
kid.
with other kid, watch awesome 80s and 90s movies, and turn out like us, because we did really well.
Because we're fucking awesome. We don't have money, but
I mean, we did go to college, so that did cost money.
Your mom went to college.
But we never went to private schools. We actually lucked out. We had a good public school system. But still, I'm just saying, cautionary tale, private schools are for losers. Okay. Moving on.
Sorry.
What else? Well, I'd like to get into this segment we've been trying to do for a while.
Oh my God.
Okay. So I'm going to preface this by saying it reminded me of this. Okay, so right before JC moves to Vermont, she buys a Wagoneer. I don't know if you remember what the Wagoneers were like, but it was basically like a long Jeep. It was made by
They always
Jeep.
have the wood panel?
Yes. So they had this awesome wood paneling. Hers is yellow with like wood paneling. So I remember growing up, some people had Wagoneers and they were like pretty cool cars, whatever. So my mom's friend, Cece, had a Wagoneer. And one time we went to Stop and Shop. Was it just me and you or Liz too?
It must have been really little, though. Like,
Yeah.
I don't totally remember this.
Okay.
So.
So I must have been 6 maybe or something like that. And it was when she was working at the restaurant because she had known Cece.
yeah.
So my mom was like a waitress at one point as like a part-time job. I think, yeah, you must have been really little.
I was a baby.
Because she was still doing that because you were like 2 or 3.
See, you can't have it all.
Yeah. So anyway, like meandering here. We're at Stop and Shop and our car gets a flat tire. So obviously before cell phones, my mom's like, shit, I have 2 little kids and a fucking flat tire in this parking lot. Like, how am I going to get out of this? And then she sees Cece in the Wagoneer driving through the Stop and Shop parking lot. And we all run after her yelling, Cece, Cece, chasing her down to give us a ride to the gas station so they can fix the car. So that is like my number one memory of a Wagoneer. So I thought we'd take this opportunity to try out this segment, Ask Carol. Yeah.
She's our mom.
Where we call our mom and see if she answers. But also she loves this movie, so we're hoping she can chat like a little bit about it. So I'm going to try to call her and see if she picks up.
Oh my God.
Let's see if it works.
I'm so excited.
She might be sleeping.
Make sure it's on speakerphone. Oh boy, I'm nervous.
Doesn't seem that loud.
I know. Can you hear it? It's making very small waves on the thing. What happens if she doesn't pick up? We'll leave a message. Oh. Carol.
Guys, bad news. She's not picking up.
Should have called earlier.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. 50.
She doesn't even have her name.
Three.
Carol.
Carol.
2.
Oh, don't leave her. Put her phone number
three,
on the air.
Unavailable.
We don't know what the number is. Sorry.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, Mom. It's Sweetie.
And Sweetie.
We're calling from the Large Marge Sennis podcast. And we just watched Baby Boom tonight. And we wanted to get your feedback on it. Because we actually had a memory and wanted to discuss your feelings on the film.
We wanted to talk about Cece and the Wagoneer and how she saved us in the Stop and Shop parking lot. Also, I wanted to ask Phil if he knew what a gullywuther was. But
That's a bird.
Hey, but we missed you. Maybe next time.
Yeah. Or call us back if you're around in the next 5 or 10 minutes. Love you, Mom.
Love you.
Bye.
Nuts.
I'll text her and see if she's around too.
Yeah.
She might be knitting.
Yeah. But that was a good memory. A couple of funny cameos in this movie. So there is a scene where she is interviewing nannies, which is another great part, actually.
Oh, they went to the movies tonight. I forgot.
Oh, shit. It's still late. They usually go to an early one, right? Oh, well. And one of the nannies is currently playing Norma on Orange is the New Black, which we were shocked by because it's such a tiny part in this. And I thought she kind of looked familiar, but I wasn't sure. You know, her speech was throwing me off because you don't really hear Norma talk on that show. So cool, though. Pretty cool. Our favorite 80s film star, Lisa Fuller, who you may know as Bitchy Randa, I got it right, in Teen Witch, and the sister in the Monster Squad.
Yes.
Is this random student in the library, in the college library, who's like, thanks, doctor, whatever his name is in
Yeah,
this.
she's a one liner.
One line, like so brief. She's in it. Who knew? Also, Mr. Big, aka Chris Knopf from Sex and the City, is one of the yuppie guys in the general store who buys baby food.
I know.
So crazy.
Yeah, there's some good folks in this. Some good career-starting roles.
Yes.
Maybe career-ending roles if you want to.
You didn't talk about your
Talk about it
favorite
like
part with Helga.
Helga! So we did miss the whole part where she is hiring nannies. So they do this like whole montage of her interviewing all these different nannies, which is pretty funny. So she interviews like this super religious woman. This woman has a breakdown. A woman who appears to be
A Muslim?
a Muslim. Yeah. Like, oops. And then a very like strict German woman named Helga. And then finally settles on this woman this girl from Mandrake Falls, who seems like really sweet, didn't have any nanny experience, but had like a lot of brothers and sisters. So she's like, you're great. Like, I'll hire you. And JC is like away all day on this conference in Cincinnati. So she comes back and the babysitter is topless, wearing a sailor's hat behind the couch.
Which makes no sense.
She met somebody in the park
Was
and
he a
brought him
sailor?
home to have sex with him.
Was he a sailor?
Yes, I guess.
Oh, okay. I was like, why does she have a sailor
This
hat?
is Wayne.
We met at the park.
No, she goes like, this is Dwayne. And he's like, Wayne.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what a slut bag. So anyway, she gets fired. And so she ends up going back to the strict German nanny because really she was the best. Her name is Helga. So she's very intense and she's like getting to leave with the baby in the morning because she has to go to an early meeting. And she walks by this newspaper that says like child missing, babysitter suspected. So she like flips out and like she's best like screaming voice. So Helga has already like left and is walking with the baby carriage. She's taking the baby for a 3-mile walk, which she plans to do every day. And JC goes, Helga, and like runs after her and asks for her social security number. Her sister's name is Wiesbaden.
She's like, and your sister's address? And she like starts saying
And
it.
any prison record if you have one.
No, but she like can't understand. She's like doesn't know how to spell the address is like this long crazy
Yeah.
German name. She's like Wiesbaden.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll just spell that phonetically. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's totally my favorite scene.
It is. It's
Helga!
I will say that this movie does kind of drag for me. Like when she starts getting into the romantic relationship with the vet, I'm kind of like, ooh, I hate that part. You know,
Isn't it the only part that drives me a little bit is the dance.
that's when she gets into the. That's like really when she starts kind of
Yeah.
clicking with him.
Yep.
And it's kind of like boring. Like I don't know. He just kind of I don't know.
I mean, they don't really need that in there at all. I feel like
Yeah, like why do we need
it's
men?
cool she had that option, but like it's not about that.
Yeah.
And she really does play it pretty cool and
Yeah.
like because there was the option she was going to return to New York, had that deal. She thought that deal was like what she wanted, but it really wasn't. But the movie ends with just it's not like the movie ends and she like runs into his arms or anything like that.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just
It
like
ends with
you love
Elizabeth.
it's your favorite part at the end, right?
No, my favorite part. She comes home after her trip to New York City to turn down the big offer. She walks in and she sees Elizabeth like playing on the ground, and she goes, and then Elizabeth like turns and goes, "Mama." Oh, it kills me every time. Every time.
You're slowly
And
dying.
there's certainly parts of this that always just made me feel so cozy and made me want to be an adult and have a child. Like the part where she's reading, she's like says this funny rendition of Sleeping Beauty, which is very women power friendly. She like changes it to be like, "Oh, thank you for waking me up because I overslept and I have a very important medical test today because I'm going to be a doctor, as all women can." So great. But yeah, it's just so cozy. There's always like a roaring fire.
Yeah, her
Just-
house in Vermont is a
and she had
beautiful
that
kitchen.
big house. It just made me want to be adulting.
I know. It makes me want to be an adult right now. I'm like,
We are adults.
Let's look in the newspaper and move to fucking Vermont. That looks amazing.
Okay, get a house inspection first. Tip number 1.
And what I would do for a job because I'm not making baby applesauce. I'll tell you that. Yeah, dream life. But
Is that a good form of food for her? Is that all Elizabeth would eat? Baby applesauce? I feel like she needs other nutrients.
yeah, well then they expanded. Remember, because she's like
She got
baby bananas,
carrots,
carrots,
yeah.
peas. So
But
she
still,
started
like-
making like everything.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool.
But yeah.
And like, how did like it seemed like she didn't? Well, I guess she didn't really know a lot about her like culinary skills.
Yeah, how did she whip up that recipe?
Yeah, I don't know.
She claims she just like made it up.
Yeah, I mean, I think she has all these skills because she's like an awesome,
Maybe she got a book out of the library. or
badass
something.
lady. Oh yeah, that's true.
The college library.
The college library. But yeah.
Talk about that interesting point you made about the other women in this film.
Yeah. So I feel like all of the other women in this film. So JC is awesome. You know, she's like this great character arc and really can do anything, which is the point of the film. I feel like all the other women in this movie suck. So first of all, she like doesn't really have any friends. She's like one friend that calls her like sort of like halfway through.
Yeah.
Elise, you don't even know like who that is.
She used to work at the company. I
Is just
guess,
bragging
so.
about her like
Yeah,
a
new
promotion or
office.
something. But she has like these secretaries that suck and are never there for her. Like every time she needs them to watch the baby, like they just stink. So I feel like the secretaries are sabotaging her career because maybe they're jealous of her because she's like a high
She
powered.
wasn't very nice to them in the beginning.
Yeah,
either.
I guess, but whatever. Let's say we're all JC's side here, okay? Work with me.
Okay.
Then you have the fucking babysitters who suck. I mean, Helga's pretty cool. You have the nosy. So the veterinarian's secretary is this nosy woman who also happens to be the mayor and like spreads all this gossip about JC in the tiny little town of 300 people.
In the town meeting. She
Yeah.
brings up at the meeting how JC passed out and had to be brought to the vet because she had like a psychological meltdown or whatever. Bitchy.
Yeah.
Bitchy is fuck.
So she has no like women's support system in this entire movie. She doesn't have, I mean, maybe that's the whole point. She doesn't have any support system and she just makes it. That's like the whole thing. But I just thought that was interesting.
It was. Would you like to play your game?
Yeah. So a little game for Sweetie. The game is called How Many People Do I Know Named JC?
Do you know? Or do I know?
So I guess you're supposed to guess.
Wait. I'm guessing how many people you know.
Yeah.
Named? That's not a fun game. I thought we were both gonna think of how many people we knew named
All right.
JC.
New game. How many people do we both know named JC?
See who wins.
Okay.
All right. Does JC Wyatt count?
Yes.
Okay. And you don't have to know them personally because I had a pretend relationship with one of these people, so I don't know if that counts.
No, you have to
Okay.
know them personally.
All right. Wait, you don't?
No.
Okay. I think only 3.
Yes, you have their number in your phone.
3 people named JC.
What? I have 3 people. We might have some
I doubt they're
overlaps.
the same.
Wow. Okay. Ready?
Well, JC Wyatt,
Yep. That's one of mine.
JC Chazé.
That's one of mine.
one of my boyfriends. Also in the little band called NSYNC.
NSYNC. Little tiny band.
Little
Little teeny boy band.
He had the best voice. So we re-listened to the Christmas album again recently and reaffirmed this fact that he had the best voice. And the third one, JC Duggard.
Damn. I missed that one. Okay, mine are JC Wyatt. Would you never find out what her JC stands for?
Yeah.
What do you think it stands for?
Jocelyn Cynthia. I don't know.
I think it's Jessica Claire.
She doesn't seem like a Jessica.
That's why she goes by JC.
Oh, good one.
JC Wyatt, JC Chazé, who is, let me remember it. His real name is
Joshua Charles.
Joshua Charles. Yeah, that's sweet. And third, this guy used to dance in the ballet company, quote unquote, when I was a little kid. JC Stahl. Remember him? He was like the main older ballet dude. He was like 30 years old
What
and we
parts
were
did he
like
play?
5 years old. He was the male lead. Remember Mari? And like he danced with her for everything? No?
But what did he dance as? Was he the Nutcracker? Like, what was his
Yeah.
part in that?
Oh, he did everything.
Tell me what he was.
He was the Nutcracker from
The
our
Nutcracker.
first Nutcracker.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was
You would
his
have been
name, I
really
guess.
little, but his name was
Was I
JC
Paul
Stahl.
Chanel?
Oh, here's mom.
Oh my god.
Well, she's not calling, but
Oh.
should ever give us a call?
I don't know. We're already at 47 minutes. I don't want people
Maybe
to get upset.
Can we edit it?
Maybe. No.
Call us.
Whatever. We can do whatever we want because it's our podcast.
Yeah. I'm just going to talk to her
New
real
year, new sweeties. That's what I say. That's what I always say.
quick. Real quick.
What'd you say or not?
She thinks someone's dead. It's fine. We're doing an experiment. Oh, here she is.
Here she is.
Hi, Mom.
What's the matter?
Oh, it's we just are doing the podcast tonight, and we watched Baby Boom and wanted to talk to you about it. I know. Yeah. So we already talked about how Diane Keaton reminds us so much of you, both in looks and attitude, but also how this is like one of your favorite movies.
Are you recording me right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It is one of my favorites. In fact, when we were talking about it the other day with your sister Liz, I said to
myself, I've got to see if that's on Netflix or something because I had such an urge to watch it.
Yeah, and it is.
Why do I
No,
like
it's
it?
on. It's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, it was on Amazon Prime. We did watch it for free, but yeah. So like, do you remember like when you first saw this, or like why you loved it so much?
Well, I always liked her in Woody Allen movies.
Yeah.
For one thing, and then when that came out, I just thought, I don't know, she just portrayed. I think I'd had a what do you remember what year was it?
87.
Okay, so I had already had all the kids, all the girls by then, right?
Yep.
So I was, I think that's what it struck me. It was such a realistic portrayal of how hard it is to raise a baby.
Yeah.
And here was this clueless woman, and also, well, the other thing was being a career woman myself. And like trying to have it all, it's like impossible. Mm-hmm. But you try, but she found ways to do it.
Yes,
that were very satisfying, and I could just like see myself doing that, like making jam, and selling it at the farmers market, and having some great. And she was so clever, and she was skilled in marketing, and so she knew how to promote these products. She knew where there was a market. You know how she's going into that. I don't know if you remember the scene. Well, I'm sure you do. You just saw her. They're in the general store in Vermont or something, and she's with the baby, and she's like has her little jars there of country baby or something. What was it? What's it?
Applesauce.
Baby?
Yeah,
Applesauce.
country baby.
And he's like snooty New Yorkers come in, and they're like, oh, you should buy. Don't buy that plaid shirt. It's what are you going for? Like LL Bean or like that kind of thing. It was just so fun. It was just so. It's like it was satirical, but it was like a lot of that stuff. It's real close to the truth.
Yeah.
About there's people that really talk and think like that.
I know. It's still like Andre brought up the fact that like women still struggle so much of just getting to this day to get any sort of maternity leave or any sort of help from companies that they've helped build. I mean, the JC character helped like build that company up from like the ground and was so instrumental in that company, and they wouldn't give her. She had that baby for a couple weeks, and they like started demoting her. I mean, what is that about? So, sorry.
So she's, and then I remember somebody telling me once that what was it? I don't know, it was something about women and pay, women and working. I said, well, the man has to support. They have to get more money because they're going to support the wife. Like the woman can just stay home. Like, what?
No. Nope, not happening.
But there was just so. Hi, Andre.
Hi, Mom.
But there were such funny things in that movie. I mean, I just laughed and laughed. It was just so quirky. That's the kind of movie I like anyway. And she's just so funny. She just seems so natural. And though if you watch a lot of her movies, she acts like that in every single one of them.
Yeah.
It's just who she is. But like the Helga.
Yes.
I know.
We did, yeah.
I talked about that a bunch.
Call your sisters and can I have the name of your sisters in Düsseldorf?
It's actually Van Wiesbaden.
Yeah, it's Wiesbaden or something. I don't even know where that is. So then we also had this like random memory because remember JC has a Wagoneer once she leaves New York and moves to Vermont.
It was yellow or something.
And remember Cece had a Wagoneer? And do you remember that time we got the flat tire?
Yes.
And we ran, you like saw the Wagoneer with Cece with her like big blonde hair in the parking lot, and we were like, Cece! We like ran after the Wagoneer, me, you, and Andre. Andre must have been like 3 years old.
Because I was late for work at the book.
But like we didn't have like phones or anything, so you couldn't like call somebody and be like, oh, we have a flat tire. Like you had to flag somebody down, and luckily like, yeah, we like knew her. Crazy.
So that was our memory.
Yeah, I know. That was fun. That was good.
Well, thanks.
Did you enjoy that movie? Do you think it was dated?
No, it's still like so relevant. It's so good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. I don't feel like it's dated at all. I mean,
no,
not even.
I think women still have those same struggles.
Yeah.
And I think it was just really hard. Like, and then just remember when she went to the mom's thing when they're all like their babies overachieving. Her baby was just like, there was in the playground. They were like talking about random stuff about the babies seeing a Monet in the sky or something like that. And it's kind of Monet's painting in the sky.
You have a very good memory. Yeah. I mean, we just watched this, but
really?
like, those are.
And her kid
very
was
good.
still was eating crayons or something like that. She's like, hey.
So good. Yeah, I recommend a rewatch.
Oh, I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, I
it's
think
fab.
I'll try to look it up. And I just, every time I watch, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, we thought of you watching it. We just wanted you to
thank you.
contribute to the
I'm glad
podcast.
you think I look like Diane Keaton.
Yes,
welcome.
she's your spirit animal.
We're
She's
trying
my
to
muse.
keep this segment about ask. It's the segment is called Ask Carol. So
Uh-oh.
we
Is
might
it?
be tapping you for other movies.
Okay.
So stay tuned. Okay, Mom, we'll let you go.
Thanks,
Okay.
Mom.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Love you.
Bye.
Bye. Love you.
That was our mom. We love her. Hope you
She's
do
adorable.
too. She's got good commentary. She should be our third host.
Yes.
We'll patch her in from the headquarters on Cape Cod.
That'd be awesome. Studio in the basement.
yes.
Anyways, we strap it up. This is our longest one ever.
Oh my god, it's just so good. I can't help it.
but it's so good. Yeah.
So, so good flick. Please, watch it if you've never seen this. I'm telling you, it's a timeless classic. It's still relevant. It's great. It's hilarious, especially if you love Diane Keaton. I think you will really enjoy this movie. So that's it. Yeah.
Sorry, taking a gulp of me wine.
Whoopsies.
Yes. Thank you so much for listening. We're in the new year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And we'll try to be churning out the podcast. We've been not as
So,
good.
well,
so
someone's a little busy all the
yeah,
time.
she's busy.
Please, though, if you could leave us a review on iTunes. We still only have 14. It's very embarrassing. All of our other podcast friends have like 30. I don't know how they do it. I can only get my cat to write so many reviews for us, you guys. So yes, please do that if you could. Also, please follow us on Twitter. I love Twitter. I run the Twitter.
Yeah. She runs
Find
it.
us at The Sweetie Club. And like us on Facebook. Also, we may have an Instagram account coming soon.
Yeah,
If Sweetie can
I
get it
need-
together and do it. That was your one project.
Damn it. New Year's resolution. Create Instagram account.
Next time. Okay.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Bye.